Good evening, everyone. This is Ekta Saigal Malhotra, founder Motherhood Club. Wish you all a very happy Father's Day. A day which is not good enough for the real hero in the life of a son, the first love of a daughter. As children, we all look up to our fathers. Many a times they are around, and most of the times they are busy working and earning enough to take care of our requirements. Father, a role model, myth or a reality, is what we will be discussing today with our esteemed panelists, Group Captain Deepak Mago, Mr. Rakesh Pachauri, and Mr. Debu Mishra. Group Captain Deepak Mago is a retired Air Force officer, served the nation for close to 30 years, has been a dean of an engineering college, has a passion to teach, has a joint family, stays with his children and his granddaughter, who is the center of attraction of the family. Mr. Rakesh Pachauri works in the logistics industry, heads the Gati Logistics as the COO, a doting father with an adult daughter, and a very, very passionate human being. Mr. Debu Mishra, again, a father to a daughter, a media personality, a drummer, and very, very passionate when it comes to encouraging his daughter, who is very actively involved in sports. Not getting too much into the detailed profile of our three esteemed guests, but to really understand whether a father is actually a role model. My father was an army officer. I grew up looking at him to understand about discipline, about planning, about science, math, and a lot of things. But when it came to the creative aspects, I went to my mother, who is a creative person. So, for a child, it is always the parent who's the role model. Doesn't matter, be it a father or a mother. But the patriarchal society that we live in has put the father at a pedestal. So, my very first question is to Mr. Rakesh Pachauri that, sir, putting the father at a pedestrian in the patriarchal society, do you think it is justified? And if so, why? And if not, why?
Can you please, your audio was slightly,
Sorry.
yeah.
So my question is that in the patriarchal society, right, and not just in our country but world over, a father is always put on a pedestrian, right? Do you think that is the way to look at it? Yes or no, and why?
Uh, I don't think so. It should be looked at that way. Reason being because father plays again a very important role in bringing up the entire in feeding his earning and generating livelihood for his entire family. So I think he should be one of the person who should also be looked upon as one of the important part of the family. That's what I
You
would
feel
say.
so?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to ask the same question to Group Captain Mago, because he not only is a father but is also a grandfather to a 7-year-old girl. So what do you think, sir, that a father who is put at a pedestrian, parent fathers को हमेशा एक ऊंचा दर्जा दिया जाता है और कई समय से चलता आ रहा है, क्या आपको लगता है कि ये सही है?
No, exactly it is not. What I would say, I would agree with Mr. Rakesh Pachauri that being a earning member or being the karta of the family, he definitely assumes a certain position. But as they say, in our system, dad is always son's first hero and daughter's first love. So I would say that definitely the kids look after their father as a role model. But to keep him at a pedestal, I think it is his behavior and their mutual understanding or their relations between the family, which makes it whether elevated or not. In today's scenario, we see that we are at a platform where kids have got a different altogether. The mentality, the outlook of today's generation is totally different than we were. Right. So today, to keep the children abreast, you have to be not only a fatherly figure, but you have to be a guide, a mentor, and a friend to them. Then only I think we can upbring them to the required level and where they can keep our lineage. Right? This is what I have
Right.
to say.
Absolutely. Same question to Mr. Debu Mishra.
Hi, good evening, Ekta,
Good evening.
and good evening to all. To me, your question, to answer your question, I would like to go back a little back in the history. See, parenting has got no gender. Parenting is equally divided between the mother and the father. But being a patriarchal society, which is there in all over India, except maybe Northeast or maybe Kerala to some extent, people always look up to the fathers as the main earning member, and that's why they are on the pedestal. So everybody idolizes their parent, father, and they look for कि ये मेरे मतलब my hero is my father. That's what everybody thinks in that way. But to add to this, with the internet coming in the last 20 years, the image of father has got a severe beating. On a lighter vein, of course, but it has really got a beating. Like the father, like in our time or before our time, before our generation, father is like when he comes inside the house goes pin drop silence. Nobody even talks. Everybody is ready to give him water, give him food, and when father is having the lunch or dinner, rest people, all the kids are silent completely. And they wait when my father is going to go back to his work or go to sleep and all those things. But with the internet and with the exposure kind of the children are having in the last 20 years, the image has gone down. Now the father is like, he has become a friend, he has become a philosopher, he has got a guide, and so many other roles father is, doing. So no more that the father is sitting at the pedestal at that time and now, little bit different, Now the father is like more of a friend than a that figure whom you can't touch even. That kind of.
Very true. And this is something that, I'm going to take it one by one to the answer that all three of you have said. What you just said, Debu, that, father figures, pin drop silence. And this is the kind of stories that we have heard from my mother and my father also. That, when our grandfather came, everybody was in the position of attention. And my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, was a judge, and he used to abide by time. 8 o'clock breakfast, 1 o'clock lunch, 8 o'clock dinner. So agar nahi serve hua to sabki, everybody would be taken for a ride. But very rightly said. And what is interesting to note is that each of your kids are at different age, right? And Group Captain Mago being a grandfather also, Rakesh ji, where his daughter is almost marriageable, and yours who's still growing up. Each of you said one thing very common, that the primary reason कि फादर को जो करता धरता मानते हैं, ब्रेड अर्नर है वो घर के, तो इसीलिए उनको एक पेडेस्ट्रियन पे रखा जाता था, राइट? जहां तक मुझे पता है, आप तीनों की वाइफ्स काम करती थी या हैं, राइट? तो आज के टाइम में हमारी जनरेशन से अगर आप देखें, लड़कियां जो हैं वो काम करती हैं, एंड दे आर इक्वली कंट्रीब्यूटिंग टू रन द हाउस, डबल इनकम, डबल किड्स, डबल इनकम, सिंगल किड्स. तो उस पर्सपेक्टिव में, जैसे कि देबू ने बोला कि फादर्स की एक जो इमेज है कि भाई फादर जो है वो बस बाहर काम करते हैं, वो काफी देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ बीटिंग अप दैट हैज हैपेंड. तो उससे आपको क्या लगता है राकेश जी की वाइफ्स भी अब काम करती हैं, तो क्या वाइफ्स के काम करने से फादर्स के जो रोल है वो इनहैंस हुआ है, और कैसे हुआ है? क्योंकि जब आप काम कर रहे थे, स्पेसिफिकली अगर हम आपसे बात करें और आपकी एक जर्नी जो हमने आपसे समझी कि आप काफी ट्रैवल करते थे, राइट? तो बच्चों के जो इम्पोर्टेंट माइलस्टोन्स होते थे, कोई स्कूल का या कोई जो भी माइलस्टोन्स होते थे, आप शायद वहां नहीं होते थे.
सही बात.
तो आपका क्या थॉट प्रोसेस है? तो आपका क्या इमोशंस थे इसके इर्द गिर्द? क्या आपको कभी ऐसे लगा, कोई रिग्रेट या कोई गिल्ट है आपको इस चीज को लेके?
मैं आपको सबसे पहले तो एक किस्सा बताता हूँ. She was Pupul was hardly, I think, 20 days old. She was in Kota, and I was traveling. Immediately after her birth, I started my travel. और मैं वापस आया जब लौट के कोटा. So she was lying on the floor, and she just kept on staring at me, and मेरे आंखों में आंसू आ गए उस वक्त. मैंने कहा शी इज अनेबल टू रिकॉग्नाइज मी. देन इला ने बोला तो अभी वो कितनी छोटी है, तुम कैसे एक्सपेक्ट करते हो उससे. सो दैट बाकी हाँ, डेफिनेटली आई यूज्ड टू मिस हर लॉट बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम आई यूज्ड टू बी ऑन टूर्स. एंड बट उसने उसमें एक चीज बहुत अच्छी हुई कि पुपुल हरसेल्फ ये इला, बिकॉज इला वाज द मेन ड्राइविंग फोर्स इन आवर हाउस. तो पुपुल जो है वो अपने पैरों पे खुद खड़ी हुई है. मेरा कोई कंट्रीब्यूशन नहीं है. मतलब वैसे इमोशनली तो मुझे आई यूज्ड टू फील नेग्लेक्टेड, अपने आप को फील करता था कि मैं घर से बाहर हूँ. बट एट द सेम टाइम दैट वाज इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर मी टू डू, टू अर्न फॉर आवर फैमिली, फॉर ब्रिंगिंग देम अप. सो दैट वाज. और जहाँ तक इमोशंस की बात है, कई बार मुझे लगता था, मैंने कहा मैं बाकी कई लोगों को मैं देखता था, सो दे यूज्ड टू either stay with their families most of the time, and I used to travel. ज्यादातर समय मेरा almost 60-70% टाइम मेरा ट्रैवल में निकलता था. तो मुझे लगता था मैं संडे वाला पापा हो गया क्या. सो दैट रियली मुझे कई बार तकलीफ होती थी, बट जब आता था वापस देन आई यूज्ड टू फील नए इमोशंस बहुत ज्यादा उभरते थे दिमाग में. एंड दैट यूज्ड टू बी. बट इला हैज रियली टेकन केयर ऑफ. उसने कभी पुपुल को पापा की कमी नहीं महसूस होने दी पीछे से.
आई मस्ट से एंड आई मस्ट कंग्रेचुलेट कि आप एक पब्लिक प्लेटफॉर्म पे इस चीज़ को एक्नॉलेज कर रहे हैं कि आप यू नो दैट इनफ्लक्स ऑफ इमोशंस जो होता था और आपको लगता था कि आप काफ़ी चीज़ें मिस कर रहे हैं. संडे वाले पापा, यू नो आपने जैसे बोला कि वो पुपुल बहुत छोटी थी और आप आए तो वो आपको ऐसे देख रही थी कि आपको लगा कि वो नहीं पहचान पाएंगी. मेरे साथ ही कुछ एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग किस्सा हुआ था कि माई फादर बिकॉज ही वॉज इन द आर्मी, तो वो भी एक्सरसाइज वगैरह पे जाते थे. तो जब मैंने बोलना सीखा तो मुझे सिर्फ अंकल वर्ड का पता था, मुझे पापा वर्ड का नहीं पता था बिकॉज ही वाज नॉट देयर एट दैट टाइम. फिर जब वो वापस आए तो मुझे बताया गया कि ये पापा हैं, तो मुझे लगा शायद सारे अंकल्स को पापा बोलना है, तो मैंने सबको पापा बोलना शुरू किया. एंड देन माय मदर टोल्ड मी कि बेटा पापा एक ही हैं, बाकी सारे अंकल्स हैं, सो लेट्स हैव द डिमार्केशन क्लियर. बट यस, जब बच्चे बड़े होते हैं तो उस टाइम पे फादर का आसपास होना बहुत जरूरी होता है. क्योंकि जैसे कि मैंने बोला कि कुछ ऐसी चीजें होती हैं जो बच्चे, चाहे वो बेटी हो या बेटा हो, वो हमेशा अपने फादर से ही डिस्कस करते हैं. Perhaps as Group Captain Margot also said that it is about how do you create that environment. You know, sometimes a son, of course, looks up to the father. He will copy the father, but there are many instances where even a daughter would copy the father. So my question is to Group Captain Margot that you know, you have a son and a daughter, right? So have you ever noticed that it is only your son who has, you know, treated you as a role model or has taken a lot from you, or it's your daughter also who has picked up a lot of your personality?
I think, to be very frank, my daughter has picked up more of my traits than my son. And I think, as it is what they say, daughters are more attached to father, whereas the sons, they look forward to establish a rapport and to copy you or to keep you as a role model, right? So I personally feel it depends on the attitude and the mental outlook of the child, what they value, and in your grooming also, how much importance you have given to them. That is a very, very important factor. And in the bargain, in your interactions, how close you have come to them so that they can open up and express and understand. So in total perspective, if you look at it, there is a general belief, yes, the sons look up to their fathers as their role model. But I find in today's perspective, because of the awareness, because of our grooming and the modern culture, the girls are given equal weightage and equal importance in the family. So it doesn't make much of a difference. And it again depends on your interrelationships between the two, as a father and daughter or father and son. which will ultimately build up your relations, and then they can start gauging you, looking up, or just started correcting you or sharing with you all the things. So I think that answers the question.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Excellent. So, Debu, you know, in my brief conversation with you, there was a very beautiful statement that you had made. And I'm seeking your permission. You don't know what am I going to say, but I'm still seeking your permission to say that I am more of a mother to my daughter than a father. I remember you mentioning this to me at some point in time when we were talking. Could you elaborate a little bit on this?
Yeah. Actually, unlike Rakesh or Deepak, my daughter is very small. She is just into her teens. So she just turned 16 now. So and she came very late into our life. So and both of us were working, and both of us were in the corporates at the senior level, so that both of us were very busy in our work. And I was in media at that time. That means full-fledged in the job in media. And wife Meenakshi, she was also in HR, and both of us are very busy. When she was born, and after that, after 1 year, I realized that I have been working so much. Maybe I'll be missing out on so many things. And both of us are actually collaborated to each other. Like we do all these things by talking to each other. So one day we talked, and I said, no, listen, Mini, I want to see my child grow up completely. So that's why I said, I will be giving up my job. I will be doing my consultancy, which will be, coming, which will be less burdensome in the sense it will not take consume my maximum time. So I said that I will be giving up the job, and I will be looking at my daughter growing up day by day, taking up everything, and I would enjoy and I would like to see all these things. She agreed to that. So she continued with her job, and I gave up my job. For 2-3 months, I spent complete time with her. And we had so many things in common, like I am a sports passionate, and I'm a player. So, and I found that she has got a knack for racket sports. So I was totally with her, almost out of 24 hours. Like I was encroaching her space, you can say, for almost like 15, 16 hours or 17 hours kind of a thing. But when she was enjoying and I was enjoying, and I was her confidant also in so many things. She talks to me, she used to talk to me on everything. And I used to talk to her on the same platform. Like there was no inhibition, nothing. And then, being a player, I loved her tennis thing. Then we decided she should be in the tennis. So now she is almost like a professional player. Like she is playing national, she is playing
Wow.
Indian Tennis Federation tennis also. So and this tennis is a very lonely game. It is a very lonely game in the sense your individual game. So if you win, celebrate alone. If you lose, then a lot of taxing. It taxes your psyche also. So and it involves a lot of traveling. So both of us traveled together so many times, so many places. And I would like to share that this is a common platform. I think people will also learn something out of it. The young parents, of course, or those fathers who have got some kind of inhibition that no, हम बाप हैं, हमें थोड़ा सा अपना maintain करना है. So like when she was reaching her puberty, Mini had already told her that what is this process she had told, but we are traveling a lot. We are playing, so we never knew when this is going to happen and how she will be reacting and how she will be affected by because tournaments were happening off and on. So we are traveling, and this thing happened. There was no problem. She told me, Papa, she calls me Baba. So she told me, Baba, this thing has happened. I was like, okay, do whatever was told to you. She did, and it was a very normal process. There was nothing like ये हो गया मैं क्या करूं या नहीं बात करूं, nothing of that sort. So in every aspect we have interacted with each other, and I am always there to guide her, to support her, and they need a lot of how do I say, they need a lot of because they go through a lot of turmoil also, because tournament is like round robin tournaments. If you play first round, second round, third round, semi-final, final, you win all the rounds, and in the final when you lose, then it is like you lost the whole thing.
Everything.
So there, the father or the parent, whoever is with you, they give you the support. तो वो बहुत जरूरी है. अगर हम कभी-कभी we fight a lot also, but that is besides the point. We fight, we talk, we come to agreement, we do all these things. So that's why, you know, that's why I'm more like a mother to her than a father. So,
Beautiful, beautiful, very nice. So, firstly, let me thank all our viewers on Facebook who have joined us and who are very, diligently listening to each one of you. There is a comment that has come from Binu Dheet. She is saying that somewhere we had blind faith in our father and where we relied on them for all the decision on him, sorry. But now the scene has totally changed. Fathers put in so much and especially towards daughters. Why? Do you all think this change is so very important? Any one of you who would like to take this question or comment?
if allow me, if
Please.
I'm allowed, then I would say yes, the role of the father has changed drastically in the last 10, 12, 15 years. Fathers have realized that, you know, they are partner to their daughter's growth, to their daughter's belief. They can help them to, you know, grow, succeed, and all those things. So that's why earlier it was like, you know, fathers used to stay away from whole thing. It was up to the mother, you know. Father is only there to give the back end support. अच्छा ये नहीं हो रहा है हम कर देंगे. Mother आके बोलेगी फिर father को करना है पीछे से. But father never used to come forward to, you know, show her his you know, support to the daughter or the son. But now it is changed, and it is changed for good. And maybe because of the exposure to a lot of other countries, culture, and like I'll give you an example. One of my friends, he's again he's in media. His son was very small. So he was watching a lot of US serials, you know, on the OTT platforms. Then one day he told his father, said something happened, and his father said, "I will slap you." So the son said, "Don't you dare to do that. I will call the cops."
That's the Western culture. That's the Western culture speaking.
Exactly. So now they also realize that no more hitting and all those things will happen. Let's talk to each other and sort out the problem and go forward. So that
Correct.
is
Communication.
the change has happened. So,
Correct. Correct. So
See,
we have another.
communication can only yeah.
Please
Sorry.
go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, see, communication between father, son, and daughter can only happen when they are more as a friends in these times. Earlier days, it was entirely different. जो बाप ने बोल दिया घर पे वो ही चलता था. आज की डेट में तो you have to be friend with your daughter or son to interact with them, to understand them, and to understand what really they want to go ahead in their career. You should not try to say कि ये करो या वो करो. So one has to, because they have to carve out their own career. So you have to play a major role in that way.
Very true. Very true. There's this question which is kind of, tickling in my head, and I want to ask this, and I'm going to ask this question specifically to Group Captain Margot and Rakesh ji. Rakesh ji, आपकी daughter is almost 28, 29, and Group Captain Margot, आपके भी दोनों बच्चे are in their 30s, right? तो आप उस generation से आते हैं जहां आप अपने fathers को बिल्कुल यहाँ भी नहीं, यहाँ होता था, and mothers had not much role to play, right? Mothers बहुत ज्यादातर घर के कामों में इन्वॉल्व होती थी, एंड आवर ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स जो कि आपके पेरेंट्स की एज के होंगे, वो ज्यादातर उस टाइम में विमेन जो होती थी वो एडुकेटेड नहीं होती थी, तो फादर का एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल होता था, राइट? तो क्या आपने अपने अंदर अपने फादर की पेरेंटिंग की लेगेसी देखी और उसको ही आपने इम्प्लीमेंट किया, या आपने अपने आप को समय के साथ बदलने की कोशिश की?
I would say that we have changed. Our outlook to life has totally changed. Like we belong to a generation where we have seen that the parents, fathers, they were a terror, and they used to be direct as a friendly communication. And the daughters or the ladies, they were just always in the background, and there was a sort of indirect communication between the daughters and the kids. Like they've also said, through the mother only. But when we have seen this, and I think education has a very great role to play to change the mindsets. And in today's scenario, as the basically standard of living increased, your awareness increased, your resources increase, and with that, your mindset. Most important thing, the mindset change. And once the mindset change, what you felt you were being ignored, or your kids, as kids, we felt that it was wrongly done to us or to our sisters or to our cousins, whatever it is. We try to adapt those things, not as our behavior, but to treat our children, our daughters, sons, our nephews and all at that platform. So I would say that the changing what we have experienced as sons and daughters, we adapted the good points like caring, affection, consideration. And today I am very sorry to say that in today's generation, with all our, what do I say, passion and all our consideration, we have failed to groom our generation to be sympathetic or develop that empathy towards others. We have our grooming, probably our kids are not used to listening to no. So with the result, anywhere they have denied anything in their life, they are totally upset. Their mindset totally changes. Their behavior, it affects their behavior. And you as a parent, you have to observe that and you have to correct them. And that is why it has become more important to watch your kids as they're growing. Not only as a smaller one, but as they grow, I feel we have got a moral responsibility to that what changes are occurring overall in their behavior. I am very lucky that my kids are with me. Probably the parents whose kids are not staying with them, probably this will be a very big factor, and probably they will find a lot of difficulty. And the chain behavior, like I may feel the chain behavior and I may try to adapt myself to that. Whereas a parent whose kids are away, they expect. And today's this thing is, greatest thing is, if we want to live ourselves happy and we want to be contented as parents, I think we should ignore all the expectations. We should not have expectations. We should contribute. We should do our bit in pacifying them, in helping them out, in supporting them, whatever is there, but don't expect anything. Probably that will maintain a perfect bond between us and the children. That is what is my personal feeling is. And I think we have already adapted ourselves and we have built in a lot of changes. I find maybe a percentage of people are there who have not changed and they're still maintaining that legacy, old legacy. That means of the being that I am the father, so my word goes and my word is law. Nothing like that. Today, kids don't accept this. And I think we as parents will be fools to expect that they will accept ours on our face value.
Very
Right.
good.
So that is, I think that answers your this thing.
Absolutely. Rakesh ji.
Yeah, I fully agree with Mr. Deepak. In fact, अगर मैं अपने बचपन की बात करूं, so I did not have my mother. I lost her when I was only 6 years old, so it was only father. So somehow we went through, but after I got married, there was a major turnaround in my life. Because मैं एक बहुत छोटे शहर से एटा एक जगह है यूपी में वहां से था, and there was no exposure, nothing. So when I then I शादी जब हुई, then I was in Kota. कोटा के बाद धीरे धीरे then we went to अजमेर, लखनऊ and all. Finally दिल्ली में आके settle हुए. So हमेशा यही लगा, बचपन में मुझे लगता था कि नहीं, parenting easy है, but it is not easy. It's really very tough, and it can only, you have to have a very coordinated effort with your wife and your daughter to make the family safe. Safe in the sense कि आप अपनी बच्चों को जब तक आप अपना दोस्त बना के अपने साथ नहीं रखेंगे, तब तक ना वो आगे बढ़ पाएंगे, ना आप satisfied रहेंगे. You will always keep on arguing with them, which should not happen. तो मैंने यही experience किया है कि it is better to understand them And because times have changed, आज की डेट में बच्चे भी काफी educated हैं. They know most of the things what's happening around the world. हमारे टाइम में तो कुछ होता ही नहीं था. अखबार में सुबह जो पढ़ लिया बस वही है. उसके बाद you never या न्यूज में रेडियो पे न्यूज सुन ली. That's all. So आज की डेट में एक्सपोजर बहुत है. मीडिया का बहुत बड़ा रोल है. So thanks to Devu, people like Devu. And so I think that's fairly what Mr. Deepak has said is absolutely right. I
Correct.
agree with.
एब्सोल्युटली, बिल्कुल सही कि हम नॉट जस्ट आपकी जनरेशन पर हमारी जनरेशन के भी जो पेरेंट्स हैं, आई वुड लाइक टू कॉल माई सेल्फ एज अ यंग पेरेंट बिकॉज आई हैव अ 4.5 year old daughter. But I get caught up into the conventional thought process and the new thought process. क्योंकि चाहे बच्ची छोटी हो, जैसे देबू ने बोला कि उनकी बेटी लेट आई उनकी लाइफ में, ऐसे ही हमारे साथ है कि बच्ची छोटी है, बट हम उस परहैप्स जनरेशन में ज़्यादा इंक्लाइंड हैं जो आपकी वाली जनरेशन है एज कम्पेयर टू द यंगर जनरेशन. एंड the key is adaptability कि one has to really change. दो आप लोगों का एक्सपीरियंस पेरेंटिंग में मुझसे बहुत ज़्यादा है, mine is just 4.5. बट नॉर्मली हम एक चीज देखते हैं कि जब भी हम मदर्स से बात करते हैं तो मदर्स हमेशा फादर्स को बहुत क्रेडिट देते हैं कि my child is like this because of the because of the man of the house, because of the father, कि बेटा उनकी तरह उनको देखता है, बेटी भी उनको देखती है. आप लोग अपनी वाइफ के कंट्रीब्यूशन के बारे में क्या कहेंगे आपके बच्चों को ग्रूम करने के लिए? राकेश जी, आपसे स्टार्ट करते हैं.
जी, मैं तो शुरू से बोलता आया हूँ, whatever she is today is because of her, and she has played a major role in her bringing her up. इनफैक्ट बचपन में जब छोटी-छोटी जब शुरुआत होती थी, पहला कदम इसने चलना सीखा, then I think I was not home. जब इसने पहली बार कुछ whatever new she used to do, I never used to be home. So she used to narrate all those things to me, and I used to feel very happy and proud of her. And we have played a major role in. And उसके बाद अभी भी इनफैक्ट you won't believe इसके सबसे बड़ा जो फादर का कंट्रीब्यूशन होता है या होता था कि किसी भी स्कूल में या कॉलेज में I have never gone with her for her admission. Ella was the only person who used to run around for her admission, getting her admitted, getting her books, press and everything. I never, मुझे टाइम ही नहीं था contribute करने के लिए. So she lady of the house plays a major role in bringing up the child, in my opinion.
Wonderful, wonderful. Group Captain Mago.
No, there's no denial that the lady of the house has got a lot of responsibility, and I think the grooming the kids, credit goes to her. But today, like what you said, earlier, mother's contribution, mothers they speak very high of their husband or talk great of their dads to the children. But it is not so. Today, you see, today with awareness and with ladies of independent, that scenario is not there. So unless your relation with your wife are very cordial and they are at a level where they understand each other, and then the kids grooming will be, I think it will be very harmonious and they will become very good human beings and they can carry your lineage and they will be able to handle the life very elegantly. Whereas in like what Rakesh has said, yes, the lady grooming, what they say is that बच्चों के लिए जो है प्यार दिखाना और गुस्सा दबाना उनकी अच्छी तरबियत के लिए बहुत जरूरी होता है. This is very important because father may not be able to do that extent what a lady can. She can express her love, she can express her affection, and she can suppress her anger much more beyond the father. But today, I've also realized that this particular two requirements are very, very important for real good grooming of our kids. We must show our love and affection to the child and express our anger. And what they say, appreciate in public and what they call gussa akele mein ho, that part is from the age old this. But today's scenario, I think for a good grooming, we have to show and express our love and affection. At the same time, express our anger. We must also learn. So that way, I think with that quality, because ladies can do all these things at a much higher level than the gent can. So I think the ladies have got a much more role in grooming the kids. I fully endorse that idea.
आपने
Father
मेरे
can be a good sport for at a morally, or you can say at a higher echelon, or guidance, by way of guidance and support, whereas mother will do it from an inner sense.
See, I think also the relation of father and mother plays a major role on
Yes.
development of a child. Of so a child will, when they look upon their parents, they realize, okay, if everything is cordial, then they will definitely look at growing in a positive manner and thinking positive. So that positive thinking has to be there between, and the coordination among parents has to be so good that the child also grows up in a good environment. That's what, and it
Very
plays a
true.
major
And you
role.
see, that's why you can find that the kids from a broken home, by way of their
Yeah.
attitude and outlook to life, you can always make out. Maybe in first two impressions, you can always think
Sure,
and
sure.
you can assess to a certain degree. This is my personal belief.
So,
Absolutely.
so that way I would like to say, Ila has played a major role, and we
Yes,
try to
yes.
keep everything well coordinated.
Wonderful, wonderful. Debu,
Yeah, I agree with both of them. And it's a fact that mothers are actually multifaceted. They are the multiple task master. So they do, and child looks up to the mother to learn a lot of things. And generally what happens in our case, I am the good cop and she is the strict cop, not bad cop, but strict cop, stern cop. So in that way, we are handling the scene, and in most of the cases, this happens in that way that because mother is the one who teaches the kids so many things that they groom in such a way that father can do. Now, of course, now the young fathers are also changing the diapers. They are doing all kind of things, but their way of changing the diaper and mother's way of changing the diaper are totally different.
Yeah, I agree.
When the father does that, father does it in his own way. The male style is totally different. So kids always they have their way in the modern system. They have their way with the father, but with the mother, no. They have to convince the mother because mother knows what exactly they are up to. Father is very liberal. Father says कि okay, कर दो, हो गया, ठीक है, दे दो इसको, कर लो.
खत्म करो.
लड़ाई हमेशा मदर के साथ ही होता है. So, but again,
correct.
this is the way of parenting the kid, and I would say that this is the best way of doing. Like there has to be a collaboration between the father and mother, and they should do it because and in see, we are talking about urban India where this is the right way of doing it. But if you look at the tier 1, tier 2 towns and other states also, the situation is still the like
Same.
father is the boss and mother does all the things, and the girls, they learn what they see in the house, how the parents behave. The kids learn in that way only.
Correct.
So one, if you were watching in OTT, one movie is there, Malayali movie, The Great Indian Kitchen. If you watch that movie, then you will see a lot of things happening because Kerala is supposed to be a matriarchal family, not matriarchal exactly, but matrilinear family.
Right.
But still there, what happens, how the family goes by the tradition, the parents, the father and the son, they sit and eat on the dining table. Then when they eat, then the wife or the mother, they come and clean not clean even, they sit there and eat and then they clean and they do it very happily. So that is a very, that has become the way of their life. So the children also learn in that way.
Right.
So it's very important that how parents behave, and I always say it has to be a collaboration between the mother and the father.
Absolutely. And yes, indeed, fathers have learned how to change diapers and do a lot of things. I'm going to read out a few comments and a lot of questions that are coming from our audience on Facebook. So there is a question from Binu. Again, any one of you could choose to answer. How will you deal with the silent problem of your child? Any inputs on that? कि बच्चा बता ही नहीं रहा है, आप गेज कर पा रहे हैं कि बच्चे को क्या प्रॉब्लम है, आप उससे कैसे डील करते हैं? Any one of you have ever had any experience like that?
I think if let Deepak say, then I can also say, because I have experienced certain things.
Sure.
No,
please.
I have not experienced so far, but what I see is by way of watching all these movies and these dramas and all, you see, there is a distinct different in behavior of a child when he is having any undergoing any stress or any problem. Now, as a parent, to gauge that and to let him speak, it's very, very difficult because you have to be a friend. The child has to have faith and belief in you so that he can discuss, and he should be fully confident that if he's going to discuss that thing with you, you are not going to get offended or you are going to punish him or say him something. So we have to have that kind of a rapport. Unless that rapport is there, I think it's very difficult to deal with this kind of a situation. So that's why we say that child, while we are grooming him, we must develop. When we are saying he should look after you as a role model, that means if he is really considering you as a role model, automatically he is having faith and belief in you. Then he will not feel shy or he will not hide his problem. So I think we must give him an ample opportunity and let him open up so that he can feel confident and then share his problem. Silent problems with the kids, you will sense, and as a parent, you must take him into confidence and ask. Maybe with your what you call pressurizing or your not pressurizing, maybe your coaxing may prompt him to come out with what is his problem, and then you will
True.
be able to do that.
Very
I
true.
think
In fact,
this
yeah.
is out of, because I have not faced this problem, but yes, I feel this problem can also be resolved. There is no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
true. In fact, yeah, please, Dev.
Yeah, in my case, what happens actually, because she's playing a lot of tennis, and you can relate it with the education or other things also. So what happens in tennis, we go together and she plays a match, and after the match, if the result is not good or if the result is very good, whatever happens, you know, her reaction is also very different to every situation. So supposing she lost the match and then she comes back, and I am a tennis lover as well as tennis enthusiast. So, and every parent wants their children to do best in whatever stream they are in. So if she loses, then when she comes out of the court, generally what happens, initially I used to do that, then I realized I used to react. I used to say, what is this you did? You should have hit the forehand in this way, backhand in this way. You missed that point. You did that. She's already pressured by, she put her best and then she lost. She's already under a lot of pressure, and then I added a lot of more pressure to that. Then she started getting into the shell. She didn't talk to me. She was silent. So we didn't discuss much. Then I also did a lot of retrospect and introspect, and then I realized that no, I am doing wrong in this way. Then we every match, when it finishes, we come, sit in the car. We don't talk about it for some time. I wait for her to open up. If she says, then I say. And then in that way, so this is very important that you have to be patient in whatever stream your kid is there, your child is there. You have to be very patient with him or her. Let them, they are feeling something, then wait and give them the confidence. Then they will open up and you also talk to them. If you start barging in on everything and you say that, no, this is wrong, this is right, why you didn't do this, why you did that, then they will definitely close. They will not talk to you much. So this is one problem. I'll just take 2 minutes and I'll just give another example of, once in some tournament, it was a junior level tournament, but of higher level. So she won the final, but she lost in the doubles. She won the singles final, but she lost in the doubles. So my reaction was a very typical reaction. When we sat, she said, okay, Baba, let's go for, she loves chicken. So she said, let's go for chicken. I said, no, not today. She said, why? So I was angry. So I told her, no, because you lost that semi-final. You shouldn't have lost doubles. Why you lost? That we started arguing, and the whole evening was wasted. And the win of her in the singles, which is a big thing, that was lost. And, there was a lot of tension happening between us. And then I realized that this is not the way we should do. So, and this goes for all the streams. I'm just linking it with tennis. But most of the parents are expecting that their children should be, doing fantastic in the exam, 99%, 97%. And if he or she scores bechara 87 or 88%, then Ajay, pura sab kuch khatam ho gaya, life gaya. So, the parents have to be, because if you behave in this way, then the children are going to get into their shell. They will not share anything with you.
Correct.
And
Absolutely.
be in their emotional aspect, maybe in their professional aspect, whichever aspect they're talking about. This is going to happen,
Very
So
true. Very true.
we have to be very communicative. We have to be very patient and
Yes.
encourage.
Yes.
That's what I will.
Yes, absolutely. Hanji Rakesh. Yeah.
मैं ये
आप-
कहना चाहता था इनफैक्ट मेरा कभी इस तरह का इंटरेक्शन नहीं हुआ फूल के साथ, बट एट द सेम टाइम आई बिकॉज मैं उतना डायरेक्टली कम्युनिकेट वैसे भी कम करता हूँ लोगों से बहुत, सो बट शी इज अ एक्सीलेंट फ्रेंड with Ila, my wife, my partner, and she realizes even emotionally भी अगर she is going through a turmoil or anything, she'll immediately realize and ask her. मैं भी बोलता हूँ, मैंने पुपुल से पूछा यार ये is she going through something? Then she said okay, and she finds it out. Then they are very good. पहली चीज तो कोई ऐसी बात नहीं होती जो पुपुल उससे शेयर नहीं करे. And I'm so proud of her bringing the way Pupul, she has brought up Pupul, that कभी कोई ऐसी बात पहले तो होती नहीं, अगर होती भी है then she normally she comes to know and resolve it then and there. She doesn't take much time in resolving all these issues.
Wonderful. So, Mrs. Pachauri, Mrs. Mago, and Mrs. Mishra, take a bow for the acknowledgement that your respective spouses are giving to you, that you have done or are doing an amazing job in raising your children. There's a question from Monica, who is a mother of a 12-year-old boy. From your rich experience, what do you think is the right way of parenting? Is it being a friend or a parent? आप सबने बोला है कि हमें दोस्त बनना चाहिए बच्चों के साथ, राइट? बट बच्चे बहुत स्मार्ट होते हैं. उन्हें पता चल जाता है कि उन्हें कब उस चीज का एडवांटेज लेना है. एंड हम जब बच्चों को बोलते हैं कि हम आपके फ्रेंड हैं, पर फिर कोई एक ऐसी सिचुएशन आती है वेयर वी रियली नीड टू बी अ पेरेंट, राइट? दैट्स व्हेन आवर पेरेंटिंग हैट कम्स अप और हम उन्हें बोलते हैं आई एम द पेरेंट, आई नो इट राइट, यू डोंट नो. एंड द अदर मोमेंट वी टेल देम come on, talk to us, we're not going to be judgmental about it, हम आपके दोस्त हैं. How do you draw a line, right? That is the first part to the question. And the second is जो देबू ने भी बोला, the good cop, the bad cop. इसी का एक्सटेंशन है कि नॉर्मली क्या होता है कि जो बैड कॉप होता है, आउट ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस एज अ चाइल्ड एंड आउट ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस एज अ पेरेंट, द बैड कॉप इज ऑलवेज द मम्मी. व्हाई इज दैट सो? एनीवन प्लीज, open question.
No, it's not that. What you are saying is not that bad cop is always mummy. It's not that. Like if you remember, Pachauri has said that fathers are there who are giving away of okay, chalo, de do, ye kar do, and all this, because we are quite liberal. Maybe it's because of the less contact. I would say you're spending less time with the child as a father. But my advice would be to young parents is that you should be tough-minded, but kind and tender-hearted. At the same time, when you are saying that you must adjust yourself in every position and shape, but you must take that path which is your way, own way to follow the flow. Because what happens is, as a child, you will be antagonized, you will be given what they call angry. They will create, they will do mistakes. You would like to correct them. But to groom a child rightly, we have to be very, very strong, tough-minded, but at the same time, very, very kind and tender-hearted. So we must listen to them. We must treat them with passion. at the same time be very firm. Like today, as I've said earlier, that today's generation is not used to listening to no. Whereas we should inculcate in them that when in today's context, if any parent says, I won't say father or mother, because bad cop, stern cop and the good cop. I would correct you for bad cop, the stern cop. So the stern cop, definitely, I would say nature has balance. If the father is very docile or soft spoken or I would say cool-minded, the mother will take the charge where she'll be more stern and more disciplined, or vice versa. And in today's context, we have to be bringing that concept into our children's mind, that though we are not saying no to any of their requirements, but once we said no means no, that means be tough-minded. And like what I have said, yes. And secondly, child is a very big psychologist. He knows how to encash what he desires. And they are so good at reading the mind of father or mother, they know whom to approach when. So if mother is coaxing, admonishing him, he will go to the father. Similarly, we are experiencing as grandchildren, grandparents. Our granddaughter, she will definitely approach us whenever any of her parents is correcting her or she wants something. So that way, as grandparents, we also have a very firm role to play to maintain that bias, what the parents are doing. So we should not unduly safeguard or pamper the child. So this is a dual responsibility. This is a, I would say, very complicated thing. But yes, with day-to-day living together, with functioning and understanding, most of all, the best thing is we should come out with all trivial things. Life is very small. We have to enjoy it. And we can only enjoy when we have least expectations and least of the thinking over the trivial things. So
I'm going to ask you to hold on to that grandfather thought, because I'm going to come to you on that particular aspect.
Oh, definitely,
Yes,
definitely.
I'm just going to ask you to. So let's hear Rakesh ji and Debu on this, and I'm going to come to you on that part, on the grandfather part.
Okay.
Hanji, which one of you is going for it? Rakesh ji.
Rakesh.
Yeah. What was the question? Can you please have, my thoughts were somewhere else. Yeah.
Parent and friend, you know, हम बोलते हैं कि हम आपके दोस्त हैं, फिर suddenly हम parent बन जाते हैं, तो बच्चा confuse हो जाता है. तो क्या है हम? And you know, which is the right way of parenting as per you?
See, it has to be, you have to be a very good friend, but at the same time, you have to be a parent where you carve out, you have to carve out a direction where he or she, your child, goes in the right direction and tries to achieve some good, what to say, I'm not getting the word. एक सही मुकाम पर पहुंचे लाइफ में. So it's not only about career, but it's also about how she settles in her life when he or she gets married, and how she behaves with her in-laws or whosoever with the entire society. उसका एक तरीका होना चाहिए देखने का. So I always believe one has to be a very good friend, but at the same time, one has to be a parent also. You cannot be a very good friend alone or a parent.
Alone.
Because, yeah.
And stern cop mummies and good cop papa. Why is that so always?
Actually, see, to come to your question in the beginning, like what is the best way of parenting? There is no good way or bad way of parenting. But yes, to his own kind of thing. But like Deepak said, you have to be, because children of current age, they gauge their parents very well. They know when they are going to say yes, when they're going to say no. Earlier generation, getting a yes from the parents is a rarity. In earlier generation, but in this generation, no is a rarity because they know how to get the yes from the parents. So generally what happens, fathers are very liberal kind of people. So they say, kar lene do isko. ये होता है तो कर लेने दो, क्यों बेकार में मना कर रहे हो, ये करो. बट मदर नोज exactly the consequences going to happen if he or she does that. So that's why mothers are very, they never say yes to anything. They find out, they talk to them, they talk a lot to know what is exactly happening and what is not. Then they say yes. And children also know, when they get no from the mother, then they make, they put one against the other, like mother against the father. That kind of thing also they do, they know, because father थोड़ा soft है, father से मना लेंगे तो, and daughters तो खास करके they do lot of this thing. This tactic is always there with them. So and at the same time, one best way of parenting is like, one has to be good, one has to be very strict. That is there. But yes, when the child says something against the mother in front of the father, or in front of the grandmother or grandfather, then he or she has to be stopped there only. She has to be told, no, this is wrong, and this is wrong. You can't talk in this way to your mother, or the mother can do the same thing to the father, or the grandparents can pitch in and say the same thing. If this thing happens, then the child also knows कहाँ पे line draw करना है. तब तक वो चलाएगा, but the moment he or she crosses the line, then they know parents are going to be united, and they will say no.
They are a team. They are a team.
So,
Very true.
yeah.
Very true. So there is a question that has come from Reena, who's the mother of a 19-year-old daughter, that she would like to know, what is that one thing each one of you can share outrightly that you have contributed in your child's life and you feel pride of the fatherhood journey that you've had so far. कोई एक ऐसी चीज जिसके लिए आपको लगता है कि आप you really feel proud of yourself and your fatherhood journey that you have contributed towards your child's well-being. देबू आपसे स्टार्ट करते हैं.
Okay. From the in my case, what happened from the beginning itself, like when she was 4 years old or 5 years old, I was with her throughout, and have given her the entire moral as well as physical support and emotional support for whatever the journey she is going through till now. Because in her case, this is a very typical, because she's a player. She undergoes a lot of ups and lows depending on the situation. Okay. And I am always with her, always. And we have given her strong moral value. We are not interested whether she will be a good student or whatever. We want her to be a good citizen. So for that, we have given her the super value, so that when she plays she goes to the court and plays the match, lot of players show a lot of temperament. They break the racket, they hit the racket with something, or they show their temper. They even give gali and those kind of things they do, which is emotional outburst in the court. I taught her not to do a single thing of that sort. You are going there to play and come back. Whatever result happens, that is between us. गुस्सा दिखाने से या रैकेट को मारने से या कोई, then you will be a bad behaved child in front of everybody. You will be a bad model. Because I also told her that a lot of kids look up to you. They learn from you. So be a good human being, so that they also learn the same way. They take the good vibes from you, not the bad things. So that is, I think that is my biggest contribution in her journey till now.
Wonderful. Rakesh ji.
Yeah, in Upul's case, we have been very liberal, but at the same time, we were, me and Ila both, we had given full liberty, whatever she wants to do, but in a constructive way. And in a whatever she was doing, we knew that she is doing some. This is good for her. That's why most of the time it has been the liberty which we had given, but it was always checked whatever she is doing is good or bad. So I think that is one thing which I feel that we have been able to handle well.
Very, yes. And for all of you to know that Mr. Pachauri's daughter is in a field where most fathers may feel a little apprehensive, because she also belongs to the fashion world. and she travels extensively, and they have inculcated that trust in her to be able to achieve what she wants to, the passion that she has, and with full confidence that it doesn't matter that you are a girl, but you can do it, you can travel, you can be wherever, as long as there is a strong flow of communication between them and her. So, yes, the trust, the liberty that we provide to our kids is very important. And Deepu very rightly said, if we can teach our children the sportsmanship spirit, and we are able to give them the right values to control the temperament, I think that is where we create good human beings. So let's hear it from a father and a grandfather.
Yes, it's a very typical question that what I feel proud personally as a parent and a grandparent is that I gave full liberty and let the kids do their own way. But at the same time, wherever they need any guidance, any sport, be it emotional, be it financial, or be it otherwise, I'm always there with them. At the same time, I always try that they must develop faith and belief in me and feel confident, not only of me, but of themselves as a good human being. And of course, everybody tries to inculcate good holistic values in the child so that they ultimately become not a good citizen or this thing, but a good human being. So my endeavor has been to groom them, teach them the values of life, try to ignore all trivial things. And to my mind, I have been successful to some extent onto that. But of course, everybody's attitude, thinking, and behavior is different. Each child is different for that matter. And in that way, I do have mixed outcomes from them. And whatever, sometimes my expectations, they may not do, though it's very easy to say that you do not have any expectations. But I do have expectations in terms of behavioral aspects, not otherwise, not materialistic or anything else. But I do have expectations from the behavioral aspect. So to that extent, I feel I'm quite satisfied, and I think we have done a good job to in bringing up our kids.
Awesome, awesome. That's wonderfully said. That expectation of good behavior as a parent is a fair expectation. Nobody wants materialistic returns for the upbringing that we offer to. So I have two questions before I come to the third, but both these questions are to Group Captain Deepak Magu, because amongst all three of you, he's the only one who has a son and a daughter. So the question that has come up is that why do fathers find it at times difficult to deal with daughters, if at all? And the another add-on question to that that has come up is that why are fathers always very strict with sons? Is that the case?
Okay, I got it. I got it. The question first, let me answer the second part of the question, that why do fathers are more strict with their sons? Because you see, it's a firm belief, or it is our traditional, you can say, and thinking. I think whatever, however modern we may become, whatever, however broad-minded we become, but ultimately we feel that our real lineage is the son. So you see yourself in yourself, right? So you're grooming, your expectations from the son is that at least, if not better, he can maintain the legacy what you have. And he maintains the traditions of your family. The daughters, since they have to finally go and settle down on their own, so there is a different way of dealing with them. And the behavioral aspect also is that they are more considerate. They say that daughters are more attached to their fathers than to their mother, and the sons are attached to the mother, vice versa. So the thing is that why fathers are more stern with the son is, to my mind, is that because you are seeing yourself in him, because you feel that when you go away, at least he'll be there to maintain the same. Whereas in the case of daughters, you are treating them in a different way. And I find that in today's context, with our own temperament, and I don't know, I can't speak about everyone, but yes, whatever I think, probably I consider and give enough freedom for my daughter that she should confide in me and she can discuss anything with me. Because I have full faith that she is independent, she's doing well for herself, and she has got a very good outlook to herself. And she's not only doing work, or she's not only doing her normal duties, but she is a multifaceted girl also, person also. So she keeps herself busy, and I am very proud that she discusses all her problems, be it personal, be it otherwise, be it professional. So again, it depends on how much confidence the child has developed in. It's not that how you are reacting with. And I think with your interaction, with your grooming and your time spending with them, automatically, if the child develops that faith, then I think both boys and girls, they are same. And as Debu was rightly said in the beginning, that parenting is not a father or mother. It's both. Parenting is the responsibility of both persons.
Absolutely.
But as a father, yes, definitely, I do agree with you that yes, fathers treat sons more sternly than the daughters. Because firstly, they have got a soft corner for the daughter because they know that she is to go one day. And sons, they see themselves in that. That's why probably they will not accept anything less than what they are, if not better. I think I've answered this.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. Right. My second question to you is that, as a finance person, as since I'm a financial mentor also, whenever we talk to the client is more interested to know कि मुझे return कितना मिलेगा, right? तो अगर मैं उसको जिंदगी से correlate करती हूँ, तो आपकी जो investment है वो आपके बच्चे हैं, right? और जो उसका
Yes.
आगे return आता है वो grandchildren होते हैं,
Yes.
right? तो वो एक कहावत भी है कि
मूल नालो सूद प्यारा।
थैंक यू।
मूल
यस
नालो सूद प्यारा।
जी, तो वो जो कहावत है वो काफी हद तक देखा गया है कि जो अप्रोच एज अ पेरेंट होता है अपने बच्चों के लिए, इट कंप्लीटली चेंजेस व्हेन इट कम्स टू आवर ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन, एंड दिस हैज बीन सीन अक्रॉस द बोर्ड वेदर इट इज अ ग्रैंडफादर और अ ग्रैंडमदर। तो क्योंकि आज आप ग्रैंडफादर ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स को भी रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं, तो ऐसा क्यों होता है, एंड इससे क्या कोई एक डिफरेंस आता है पेरेंट्स की डीलिंग बच्चों के साथ और एक ग्रैंड पेरेंट की डीलिंग बच्चों के ग्रैंड चाइल्ड के साथ? एंड बिकॉज जैसे आपने बीच में बोला भी था कि वी हैव टू सपोर्ट ईच अदर एज पेरेंट्स एज ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स, तो कहीं ना कहीं एक थॉट प्रोसेस डिफरेंट होता है पेरेंट्स का और ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स का, तो उसको कैसे डील किया जा सकता है?
That difference, what you're talking is of a generation gap. So what I think today and what my son thinks today as a father and a grandfather, that is different because of a, but my behavior to my grandchild, it is different. I won't say it is much different than what it was with my kids, but what we feel is that at times we are lucky that we are staying together. So whenever we feel that the child has been neglected for some reason, or he has been given a coaxing, or this thing, but if he been rebuked for something, so the child is looking for a shelter or for a shoulder. So at that time, to pacify him, you offer him all that thing. So that is how your behavior change. Because I know that what my son is doing to her, to correct her, whatever she is doing is wrong, and he's correcting. But at the same time, she is looking for someone because we are there. So she will look after she would look up to us to safeguard. So that is the time when, that is why I said we have to have an understanding between parents and as grandparents. We should have, both parents should have understanding that we correct. And Debu also has said, when we said someone says no means no, and if it's genuinely a wrong thing, no means no. At every level it should be. But for normal things, day-to-day routine and all, behavior can change. But yes, firm no or firm yes has to be for in unison with the parents and grandparents. So only then probably we can live in harmony and have a congenial environment. Otherwise, what happens? The kids can be a very big factor in creating misunderstanding, in creating a domestic conflict. Because if the mother or the father is correcting the child and grandparents negate that or they rebuke the mother or father, child will get a wrong message. So this is very, very important. Whereas if we see in our times, it used to happen. Because at that time, there used to be one single earning member and there used to be 4-5 families they were supporting. I also belong to a joint family. I remember we were 28 cousins in all. We are all living together. So one, my father and my uncle, they were earning members, the rest everybody is on the house. So you see, their things were different. Because our grandparents, they used to rebuke or they treat them as dirt, and the earning members or who were the breadwinners for the family, they were treated in a different level. So that should have given us a different kind of thing. But our grooming was by our mothers and our grandmother was that no, everybody is equal. So that I think over a period of time, at the back of your mind, things change. And with our awareness, with our education, with our different mental outlook and today's scenario, I think once we have amalgamated and merged those things, understood life in a much better way. And I think probably we can contribute more towards happiness, because happiness is always from within. External factors, I don't think they affect much. So relations, whatever is the, I would say, family bliss, that is only once we have a total understanding and a harmonious way. So that way we can do that, and our behavior changes. I told you only because of that. Otherwise, grandmother, other parents where those grandparents are away, they are not staying with them. Probably there they pamper them. They overdo that. Why? Because they want to spend whatever time those kids are spending with them. They must remember. They want the memories in the grandchild so that they should remember that. Okay, so this is a difference. Whereas I may rebuke her also, my grandchild, because she's in front of me. Whereas had we been away, whatever she may do, I remember our Mamaji, he didn't have any issue. So all our summer vacation we used to spend in their house. And my mother, they were 5 sisters. So imagine some 10, 11, 12 kids, 4 ladies and 5 ladies, and in that family, those who are not used to having any kids or something in the family. So we used to play cricket things. We used to damage so much of their things during the summer vacation that at times my mommy will say to a mama, इनको भगाओ आप सभी लोगों को, इन्होंने बड़ा तंग कर दिया हमको. So he will say कि भगवान रुक जा, यही तो दिन है जो हमने एंजॉय करने, इनको जो करना है करने, जब ये जाएंगे तब मैं सब कुछ ठीक करवा दूंगा तेरा. So the thing is that though people who do not have those things, they yearn for that. So that's why I say the grandparents whose grandkids are not staying with them, they pamper them. They wish that the child should have a feeling and they should remember their grandparents. Whereas once you are living together, then you have to have a clear demarcation. Whereas both parents, the parents of the child and grandparents, they must understand each other. They must appreciate each other's role and behavior and be in unison. Yes, I do require, depending on the child's physical state, sometimes she may be throwing tantrums or whatever it is. At that time, you may change yourself, right? So this is what exactly.
Wonderful, wonderful. हाँ जी, राकेश जी, आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे?
नहीं,
Okay, so thank you all of you for that wonderful insight into the world of the father's mind. And there are a lot of questions which have come, but due to paucity of time, I'm going to ask you this one last question, and this is a common question for all of you. आप तीनों की बेटियां हैं. आप इस कॉन्वर्सेशन, इस पैनल डिस्कशन के माध्यम से अपनी डॉटर्स को और भी बहुत सारी बेटियों के, कहते हैं ना बच्चे सांझे होते हैं, जो हमने अपने बड़ों से सुना है, आप क्या मैसेज देना चाहेंगे बेटियों को स्पेसिफिकली, क्योंकि आप तीनों एक बेटी के फादर हैं. तो राकेश जी, आपसे स्टार्ट करते हैं. आपका क्या मैसेज है पुपुल के लिए और बाकी सब बच्चियों के लिए?
मैं यही कहना चाहूंगा कि whatever you do in life, it should be towards you must have some values, and you should become a good human being instead of only materialistic. तो हर आदमी वो करता, but they must have some values also in life. And आगे उनको ये देखना चाहिए how to become a role model in the society, so that they are appreciated by, and people start looking up to them. So that's what I would like to convey. And Popul is already doing that.
Yes.
I'm proud of her.
Wonderful. Superb. Superb. And that's a message for all the daughters also.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Have the right values in place and become role
Yes,
models for
and
many.
secondly, and you must have trust on your child. That's one of the messages which I would like to give to most of the parents. Because जहाँ पर trust नहीं है, whether it is whichever relationship never matures unless and until there is a trust. So that trust has to be there.
जी बिल्कुल, absolutely. Group Captain Margot.
My message to the daughters is that in today's scenario, be confident and try to be self-sustaining and be very, very passionate and have compassion to be a good human being. And as you said that you must have trust in your offsprings and be a good human being. That's the ultimate, nothing beyond that. And treat everyone with respect and develop the good values in life. Whereas you can maintain good relationships and you can be a man of some worth. That is what is my advice to the
Wonderful. Passion and compassion and trust and good values is what
yes.
is the message to all the daughters and to Group Captain Margot's daughter. And having known Pupul and Palak, that is Group Captain Margot's daughter, I think both of them are role models in their own ways, and they are inspiring a lot of them. So kudos to both of you as well as to your spouses, because together as a team, you've done a wonderful job. Debu, let's hear you.
Already Rakesh and Deepak have told everything. My message to all the daughters or to Meher is that be proud of yourself, be proud of your achievement, and please remember your parents are always proud of you, whatever you do. Whatever achievement you do, believe that your parents are always proud of you and have a great value, great moral system that will take you to big heights. So I would say
Wonderful. Wonderful. So that's a beautiful message for Meher. I don't know her personally, but I have known her through Debu and through Ela, that she's a wonderful child, very, very passionate about her game. And, she puts her heart and soul in it. And Debu has been extensively helping her. So, indeed, very, very strong messages from all you three fathers. And I would say that I think this is one of the best ways that I could celebrate Father's Day. And what I heard from all three of you, in some way, while the words were coming out from your mouth, but I could feel that this was my father talking to me, who perhaps sitting up above in the heaven would be feeling, uh, I hope so, proud that, I could have this meaningful conversation with the three of you. And, he used to always tell us the same thing, that no matter what, don't look at shortcuts. Always stand by your values. And one of the values that he inculcated in us is honesty. That if you are honest, you may have a short term loss, but in the long term, you will always benefit. And of course, being an army officer, discipline was inculcated in us. Trust was there. He kind of let both me and my brother go to hostel, pursue our careers, choose the choices that we wanted to. And I think as parents, each of us, should take this onus to let the child be what they want to with the right set of guidance. And that is what at least I have learned in the limited experience that I have. And having spoken to close to 60 mothers and fathers put together, that each of them has said that, our child is our teacher. And that's what I gather from you all also today, that there is so much that we learn from our children. They have changed us, they have made to adapt. And, we have three of us, that is myself, Debu and Rakeshji, representing the only single generation, and Group Captain Margot representing two generations. And little that I know of him, I have seen him how he was with his father, where he would strike a balance between his children and interacting with his father and a lot of others. So thank you, everyone. I think this was one of the best ways to celebrate Father's Day. Wish you all a very happy Father's Day. And all I can do is applaud for all of you. You're doing a commendable job. And this was our very first initiative to bring fathers together to understand their mindset. We've done a one-to-one interaction. And of those one-to-one interactions, if I could just take a few minutes, uh, each father was very different. One father decided to take a break in his career because he wanted to be with his teenage son, to groom him because he felt that he wasn't there when his daughter was growing up. So, to perhaps rectify, and he read an article where it spoke about Lord Krishna's son to not be a good human being because Lord Krishna did not have enough and more time for his son. And that changed his thought process that he didn't wanted his son to walk the wrong path. And of course, he has regret that he couldn't spend that time for his with his daughter. The other father took up coaching classes for himself to be able to groom his daughter and son who were inclined towards sports. And then we had a single father because of his divorce who ensures that even if his child comes to him only on weekends, he balances it so that the child is not overly pampered when he goes back to the mother. So I think fathers, indeed, the thought process has changed, and it is indeed absolutely overwhelming to hear fathers of your age because you except for Debu, both of them have almost 20 plus years of being a father, and the thought process has changed. And I'm sure um, father a role model is not a myth but a reality. And in addition to that, I would say that both the parents are role models. So once again, thank you so much on behalf of Ila Divedi, President and Chief Advisor, Motherhood Club, and myself, the founder of Motherhood Club, to be here and making this Father's Day and a Sunday evening absolutely worth every word that you all spoke. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ekta. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Take care. And for all of you viewers, stay safe. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. And I'm sure either of them would be very happy to answer them. They're all part of a group, and we would look forward to a lot of guidance from the senior members and fellow parents. So, with this, we bring an end to this conversation, and we will be back with you all once again as early as tomorrow, where we will be talking about World Yoga Day with two women who took up yoga as a way of life. More on that tomorrow at 4 p.m. at Motherhood Club. Till then, stay safe and take care.
Thank you, Ekta.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. See you all.